जब अलेक्जेंडर इसाक ने लिवरपूल को लीग कप फाइनल में गोल मारा था, which eventually turned out to be the winner, apart from feeling sad, I was like, man, he is genuinely one of the best strikers in the world. 5 months later, Liverpool have their number 9 in one of the most thrilling transfer sagas in Premier League history. Number 9 has always been one of the most iconic numbers and important position in Liverpool history, donned by the likes of Ian St. John, John Toshak, and the legendary Ian Rush. All of them were one of the main players in most successful period in Liverpool's history, and then further held by Robbie Fowler, Fernando Torres, and then Bobby Firmino. जब लिवरपूल ईसाक रूमर स्टार्ट हुए थे ना, तो आई रियली वंडर्ड एट दैट टाइम दैट इफ़ ही साइन हिम he can really come under that iconic bracket of Liverpool's number 9. He's that special. Such is his quality. Growing up in Solna, a working class suburb of Stockholm in Sweden, he made his debut for his boyhood club AHA IK at just 16. And then at the age of 17 was signed by a certain German club named Borussia Dortmund. जब भी डॉर्टमंड का नाम आता है ना, तो वी ऑलवेज एसोसिएट देम विद यंग वर्ल्ड बीटर्स, prodigies who will go and be future superstars. But this was not the case for Isak. He struggled for game time ahead of the players like Marco Reus, Andre Schelle, Michy Batshuayi, and so on. And after a struggling year at Dortmund, he went on loan to Dutch club Willem Tilburg, and he managed to score 13 goals and 6 assists, which was his breakthrough season, and Real Sociedad signed him in the summer of 2019. He finished his first season as club's top scorer in all competitions and formed a very, very fine partnership with Martin Odegaard, who later joins Arsenal. Isak ने 3 years spend किए थे इस club में, and in 2020-21 season, he scored 17 league goals, his career high, and he break the record of Ibrahimovic as the first Swedish player to score 17 league goals in La Liga. दो key reasons थे why he was successful during that time. First was that La Liga में teams mostly possession-based football खेलती है. Instead of deep block, defenders often push themselves to compress the space in midfield and then maintain high line, and this played right into Isak's strength. His ability to run off the shoulder of defenders and use his speed to get in goal, and that is what he did. Secondly, in his best season for the club, he was supported by players like Oyarzabal, David Silva, Zubimendi, and Mike Marino. In an environment like that, he flourished and also won Copa del Rey in a memorable season for Sociedad. Although he did struggle the following season, but by that time, top European clubs jaan chuke the about the potential that Isak had, and some big clubs came after him. Interestingly, Liverpool had Isak in mind as an alternative to Nunez if that deal didn't pull off. But we all know Liverpool eventually signed Nunez in that summer. And Isak, in that same summer, went on to Newcastle United for their club record fee. Ironically, his first league goal came against Liverpool, and he announced himself in English football. Although his start to life in England was halted by injuries, a lengthy hamstring injury which kept him out from September till January of that season. Callum Wilson, primary striker at that point, and he was having one of the best seasons of his career. And whenever Isak played, he was second fiddle to Callum Wilson all that season, but still managed to bag 10 goals in 17 starts. Not bad for his first season considering the level of Premier League. In the next 2 seasons, he absolutely ran riot in the Premier League. He ripped apart defenses and racked up 44 league goals in 2 seasons, establishing himself as one of the best strikers, not just in the Premier League, but in the world. Isak's goal scoring prowess was so strong that he was only battered by Haaland and Salah. 54 Premier League goals in just 86 games are extraordinary numbers in the Premier League. Newcastle qualified for the Champions League, and it looked like that they will be sitting at the big boys table from now on. Newcastle की hierarchy and Eddie Howe दोनों चाहते थे to center their team around Isak, which was now their genuine superstar, the right player to go ahead with. So what happened? How did he ended up at Liverpool? To know that, let's roll back to 2024. Isak had a tremendous season in the league. उनके कॉन्ट्रैक्ट में 4 साल बचे थे, and he was earning 150k per week. बट उनकी परफॉर्मेंसेस को देखकर क्लब माइनॉरिटी ओनर एमेंडा स्टेविले एंड ईसाक के कैंप में डिस्कशंस हुए अबाउट एन इम्प्रूव डील. लेकिन स्टेविली लीव्स न्यूकासल इन जुलाई 2024 एंड जो न्यू स्पोर्टिंग डायरेक्टर आते हैं पॉल मिचेल, उनके लिए इसाक का न्यू कॉन्ट्रैक्ट वॉज नॉट अ प्रायोरिटी एंड ये इसाक के कैंप को कम्युनिकेट कर दिया जाता है. ऑल दो ये एश्योरेंस दी जाती है इसाक को दैट ही इज़ देयर की प्लेयर and they want to build the team around him and he will be in the center of the scheme of the things. But by then, Isak had made up his mind. He finished up the season as the second highest scorer of the league, only behind his future partner in crime, Mohamed Salah. And he was instrumental in Newcastle winning the League Cup, their first trophy in 70 years. By May, वो communicate कर देते हैं Newcastle को about his desire to leave. He makes up his mind, despite Newcastle's effort, for making him the highest paid player in their club's history. It was too late. By this time, Liverpool are aware about interests of Isak and they decided to move for him. There was a situation जहाँ पर Liverpool kind of told Newcastle that either give us Isak or otherwise we will move for Hugo Ekitike, who was high on the list of priorities for Newcastle. Newcastle didn't budge and Liverpool signs Ekitike. What a power move this was from Liverpool. Newcastle was struggling to get a top striker and all their targets were joining different Premier League clubs. Publicly, Newcastle का stance ये था that they are not willing to sell Isak, although Isak refused to play for them again. In final week of the transfer window, Newcastle के owners try करते हैं, last try, to convince Isak to stay at the club, but he rejects again. In the last final days of transfer window, they finally signed Nick Woltemade and Visa on the final day to open up the way for Isak's transfer to Liverpool, and finally Liverpool get their man. Edwards played an important part from Liverpool's end, supported by Hughes and FSG technical director Julian Ward. All of them made this happen. So, what can we expect from Isak in Liverpool? His main strengths are his instinct, his positioning, and of course his deadly finishing. बहुत यूनिक बात जो इसाक में है वो है हिज फर्स्ट टच टू सेट हिम अप, फाइंडिंग द स्पेस एंड हिज बॉल स्ट्राइकिंग एबिलिटी. अगेंस्ट लिवरपूल लास्ट सीजन व्हेन ही रिसीव्स द बॉल इन दिस पोजीशन, यहाँ पर देयर इज़ नो थ्रेट एज सच, बट what makes him a very special player is this touch from him. He manages to get away from Van Dijk, sets him up and scores an absolute banger, also highlighting his ball striking ability. One of the key elements in a striker is how he places himself between two defenders, and Isak is one of the world's best when it comes to that. इस situation में look where Isak is placed, right between the centre backs, as he's about to receive the ball. And the moment that cross came in, he was in a perfect position to place it home. ऐसी positions में इतना जल्दी आना is not an easy thing, and it all comes down to instinct. And Liverpool में he will have plenty of opportunities to score goals like these. Another thing which is so good about Isak is his clarity of mind and his decision making in front of the goal. For years now, Liverpool have craved a target man with such ability, with such prowess in front of the goal. I absolutely love Nunez, but he used to struggle in such positions to make up his mind, to finish and be lethal in front of the goal. With Isak, you know that he will be finding those opportunities, he will be taking those chances and putting them in. As soon as he receives the ball here, again a brilliant first touch. He makes up his mind where he wants to place the ball and scores brilliantly. This is a sign of a top striker. Isak ने 8 लीग गोल स्कोर किए हैं विद इन द 6-yard box, a career high, and 19 of them came with the first touch, another peak. जो बात मैं पहले कर रहा था about how he positions himself to create such opportunities for him and how he delivers effortlessly. Just the prospect of him linking up with Wirtz is a spectacle I would love to see. Not to forget the playmaking ability of Salah, who was of course the highest assist getter last season, his best season in Liverpool colours. Liverpool will be setting themselves up in the similar formation, playing double pivot and Wirtz in that number 10 role, who will love to find Isak. Szoboszlai will definitely play. Where will he play? That is on slot. Gakpo and Ekitike will interchange roles on left wing. Ekitike is a worthy centre forward as he's already proving himself, and he will be really good in both of these positions. Last season, players like Jacob Murphy and Gordon were very important to find those key passes for Isak to finish. Liverpool में this role can be performed by Wirtz, Soboslai, McAllister, Salah, Van Dijk, even Kirk is. And for a player who can convert half chances into goals, this would be absolute treat for him. The potential is unlimited. So, can Isak be the next legendary Liverpool number 9? Signs are looking good.